Hi, and welcome back to Mad About Cards and Crafts and another Brutus Monroe design team project. Today we are creating this fall-inspired slimline card using the Fall Watercolor Panels from the Brutus Monroe store. I have the Pink Fresh Studio Slim Lacy Edger die. I'm going to cut down a panel to 2 1/4 by 8 1/2, and I am going to use that lacy edger on one side. That's going to give me that beautiful swirl, and now we're going to do some stenciling with the Victorian Swirl Slimline stencil. I've mixed some media paste with some Chroma Glaze in Teal. I wanted to get a little bit more of dimension with my texture, so I used the media paste for that. It mutes the teal down just a little bit, and I really like the way that it perfectly matched the cardstock that I end up using. Here are the leaves from one of the watercolor panels. There are a few more smaller leaves that actually cut out, but I didn't use them on this card. I'm adding some water to my leaf, and then I'm going to add some Daniel Smith watercolors. I have a palette that I didn't actually write the names of the watercolors, so I'm going to apologize. You can see that I'm using teals, and here I'm using a deep red. And I'm just going to add water to each of these little leaves with a clean brush. So I have clean water on the left side, dirty water on the right side. I do end up putting my clean brush in the dirty and having to clean that off. And I'm just dropping in the color. For the oak leaf, I did add sap green. I do know that. And then for this maple leaf, I added some orange, and then I'm going to bring in a red tone. And I'm going to set those aside and come back to this leaf. This leaf, I ended up really having to work with it because I didn't like the way that the colors were coming together that I was dropping in. So here I dried it down, and then I'm trying to add some more water to get that deep red to move. And it's not giving me the color tone that I'm looking for. I'm going to set it aside, and I'll come back to that. For the sap green leaf that I have right here, I'm going to add, or actually I'm going to go to the maple leaf first. I'm going to add a little bit of yellow. That's going to lighten up the orange tone, which is what I was looking for. And then I'm going to add that yellow to the oak leaf as well. Now, these watercolor panels, the paper from Brutus Monroe that he prints it on is fabulous. So you're going to notice that when I'm working on that maple leaf in the upper half of the screen, that really ugly one right now, that I'm not going to get any pilling. It's going to take a lot of water. It's going to take a lot of paint. And so I really appreciate that about the watercolor panels that come from the Brutus Monroe store. This particular pack comes with 4 different designs, 2 of each design. There is also a holiday collection or a Christmas collection that's beautiful. You can also buy the paper packs by themselves. And again, they are just fabulous for watercoloring on. So I dabbed up some of that color on that maple leaf, and I'm going to add a little bit more teal, and then I'm going to set that aside. And I'm also going to add teal to the leaf that I colored with a darker green on the right. So I was trying to get the same color families throughout these leaves, yet make them all individual and different. And I think that I was really able to achieve that. With watercolors, all of this is going to dry back quite a bit, which is why on the maple leaf, the orange and red one, I added extra color because you need to add lots of layers if you want to get a little bit more depth. For this last leaf, I'm going to add the teal, and then I'm going to add a little bit of the green. Now, here we're coming back. I'm going to come to this real quick. I'm going to add some water to this, and I'm going to dab up some of that color. And then I'm going to add a little bit more green. And when I'm finished with this, I'm going to set it aside. When I'm finished, I have like burgundy along the edges, and then the inside is teal with a touch of green, and I love the way that that turned out. So I'm going to add my Tombi Starry watercolors. I'm going to be very heavy-handed with this. I love splatters, as you know, and I really love this particular tone. So this is one of the mid-tone golds. And I think it just creates a lot more texture and a lot of interest. I didn't mention that the leaf that's in the upper right-hand side, I did mix a teal and a green to get that tone. And here I have that edger, and I'm going to add some foam tape to the back of that so I get a little bit of a lift. And I'm going to straighten that out so I don't have that curl in my paper. I do have a card base that's 8 3/4 or 8.5 by 3.5 inches, and it's just some teal cardstock from my stash. I cut this red piece of cardstock 1/4 inch, and I didn't like the color of it, so I did use that Barn Door Distress Oxide to change the color and deepen that red just a little bit more, so it went with the orange red oak leaf. I'm going to glue that to the straight edge, and then I'll trim off the bottom. Now you notice I should have finished my stenciling and I didn't. And then I bring in my stencil and I turn my stencil on the wrong side, so I get the swirls in the wrong direction. But that was easily covered up with one of the leaves when I start laying those out. This week was just a very busy week. And my granddaughter was born, Bryn Avery Harris. She was 8 pounds, 8 ounces, 21 inches long. I was going back and forth to the hospital to get cuddle time with my baby. We did have to keep her in just a little bit longer because she was a little bit jaundiced. And when she finally was able to come home, I was bringing meals to my son and my daughter-in-law. I am so smitten with this little girl. You have absolutely no idea. So I'm using a stencil, or I'm using a stamp from the what's it called? I think it's called Home Fall Stamp Set. I'll have it linked in the description box below along with all of the other products. And it says fall leaves are falling. And I did use the Brutus Monroe Gilded Embossing Powder to emboss that with. And I've added my edger to the left side of my card, and now we're going to lay out the leaves. Once I get these laid out, I am going to glue them down, and then that is going to be my finished card for today. So I want to thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure that you subscribe if you haven't subscribed to my channel. Again, I did mention that I will have all of the products linked in the description box below that are available over in the Brutus Monroe store. I will be back next Thursday with another Brutus Monroe project. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. And until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.